Before I get into this next conversation, I just wanted to start by thanking the over 400 partners that are in the audience that traveled from around the globe. Over 50 different countries people are traveled from, so thank you so much. We have over 1,000 partners that are sitting at home live streaming this as well too, so I can't thank you enough for that. But most importantly, we can't thank you enough for taking the time and your resources to develop services and solutions to help our customers realize and maximize the value of their investment in Tanium. So thank you so much. I'm really excited about this conversation today. We are seeing a massive shift going on in the marketplace. We are seeing customers who've traditionally purchased technology and run their solutions themselves hire managed service providers or managed security service providers to take that for them, and they purchase an outcome for that. In fact, I read a recent study by Poon Institute that said 67% of every single emerging enterprise is either currently using an MSP provider or will be in the next 12 months to manage and secure their endpoints. So it's because of that we thought it was a great topic today for you to hear from some of the experts in the industry about why this shift is happening, and you, for your organizations, the type of value that you could get from one of these managed service providers. And we have 4 fantastic organizations from around the globe that's representing us here today. So please join me in welcoming a truly global panel. So our first speaker is Jordi Juan from EY in Spain. Thank you, Jordi. Really appreciate it. Our next presenter is Chafic Abdallah from NTT in Australia, Sydney, Australia. Chafic, thank you. Our next panelist is John Poon from the United States in California, my hometown, from Novacoast. John? Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Sebastiaan de Vries from Capgemini in the Netherlands. Sebastiaan. Thank you, sir. And thanks for all of you for coming so far away to be here today. So thank you so much. In the interest of time, let's go ahead and jump into it. So we talked about this massive shift that's happening and companies migrating their workloads and services to managed service providers. Let's start with you, Chafic. What's driving this in the industry? Why are companies making this transition?
Yeah, in Australia in particular, digital transformation remain the #1 factor in driving the shift towards managed services. And I don't think it's any different around the world. What we're seeing is the CIOs of almost all organizations are in the spotlight more than ever before. It's because they are at the helm of enterprise IT, who is responsible to drive successful implementation and delivery of the business strategy. So with that in mind, all IT executives are resorting to managed services to tackle the challenges that come with digital transformation. Things like concerns about cloud security and governance, worrying about distributed data and application management. This one, I'm not sure if you agree with me, Todd, attracting, retaining, and training key talented people, and also accelerating in-house technology and skills in order to keep up with unforgiving demand generated by digital transformation. And also the bigger than Ben-Hur capital expenditure that fail most of the time. And if it doesn't, it becomes inadequate 6 months down the track. So all these combined is driving an unprecedented change towards managed services.
Yeah, thank you, Chafic. You mentioned the shifting in the workflow. I think somebody mentioned this comment earlier. 700,000 open IT security jobs in the United States alone. I mean, that's just staggering. Anybody else have any other comments? Why are your customers coming to you? Why are they making that transition?
So if I can, We see the skill gap as well, right? It's a key talking point for us as well, in the sense that our customers are rapidly maturing to meet the threats they see in their environments, and they are slowly starting to realize that they can't do everything themselves, right? Because in that sense, we're competing for the same specialists, right? We want them as part of our team as well. And it's just a very complex discussion to have to maintain that level of security and quality, because like was said, I believe, yesterday on the same stage, we have to get it right every day. The attacker only has to get it right once.
Great. Well, thank you for that. One of the things I didn't mention is every single one of these companies has built managed security or managed operational-based services that are powered by the Tanium technology. Jordi, we can start with you if that's okay. Can you talk a little bit about some of those services and how Tanium fits into your service offerings?
Yeah, Tanium really fits very well in our service offering, mainly in two different dimensions. First, it allows us to deliver a new set of services that we were not able to deliver before. I'm talking about patch as a service, hardening as a service, and these sort of things. And then we are able to optimize our service delivering operations, which is very important. So here, in terms of technology, we are able to shift from a complex technology stack to a one-stop shop model, which gives a lot of efficiencies there. Then in terms of people, we only need to train our teams in one technology. So we can have a single delivery team delivering several services on top of one platform, which is very powerful. And then regarding to our processes, the fact that Tanium is giving all their information in a single data source allows us to optimize a lot our delivery procedures. So this is very important because everything that has to do with optimization at the end goes to the customer because they can have lower rates for the services. So this is very important. And then on top of that, we are a consulting firm. So we don't believe in the one-size-fits-all approach. So we need to customize our service to each one of our clients. So in this aspect, Tanium is great because it's very flexible and allows us to do a lot of customizations.
Yeah, thank you for that. John, I know Novacoast, you guys have built services for the largest of large customers and then also the small to medium-sized enterprises as well too. Why Tanium and how does that fit into your service offerings?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We have been running vulnerability management programs for our customers for a really long time. I mean, years and years and years on things like Tenable and Qualys and those kind of platforms. And I think one of the things that we really found was just simply that service, we would go through scan results, right? We're trying to curate the remediation plans, help our customers focus on what vulnerabilities they should be remediating. And basically what we found is that just completely failed. I mean, we would have customers for a year, maybe two, we end up building all these reports, metrics, constantly sort of elevating the visibility they have in terms of where their vulnerability management program sits. And at the end of the day, what we're finding is simply that just nobody was actually making progress, right? We had better and better reporting that had literally all the data sliced, 100 different ways to just simply continue to emphasize, yeah, you still suck at patching, right? And here we are the next month, the next 6 months, still suck. And so for us, really the big shift came from being able to actually then patch that, right? So like one of those things was kind of the gaps between the security team and the operation team, right? One owning the reporting and kind of the stick side of it, and the other, supposedly executing on that and just never really getting there. So, having that third party be able to do it helps to bridge that political gap in companies. And I think we've seen a lot more progress with that. And then just simply having a tool that allows that, right? Both the detection and the fix side of it. And Tanium's one of the only platforms that can do that effectively.
That's great. Thank you for that. And Sebastiaan, I know that Capgemini has rolled out a bunch of services all throughout Europe that are powered by the Tanium platform. Can you talk a little bit about the types of services that you guys and why Tanium for that?
Definitely. So for a little bit of a history lesson on how we got involved with Tanium, it started very much from the beginning where he said, if we have a security incident, we need a lightweight tool stack that we can roll out rapidly and fix any kind of problem we might encounter. Right? And that, for us at the time, was Tanium. We have one agent, we get all this functionality, and we can activate modules as we discover things. From the lessons we learned in those IR engagements, we realized, well, why not keep the Tanium agent around after the incident? And that's how it kind of got rolling. So we started this initiative from the cybersecurity practice in the Netherlands, and started with core security services like vulnerability scanning, like security monitoring, and started branching out into the logical next steps like patching and software deployments, and have grown the portfolio from there. We are now in the situation where we are one of the unique teams that seamlessly tries to bridge the gap between security and operations. Doesn't always happen straight out the gates, but as soon as we start having that dialogue either with our clients or with other MSPs that might be serving the same client, we get into a situation where, because we're no longer debating about factual information about the endpoints, the only thing to discuss really is how do we help the client with that information.
Great, thank you for that, I appreciate it. Changing from a mindset of I buy my own infrastructure and solutions, I'm running those for myself and my team, to starting a relationship with a third-party organization and trusting them to do that on your behalf. That's a unique partnership. Talk to us a little bit about that kind of trusted relationship that exists between a customer and their service provider, and how does that happen? So, Jordi, do you want to start on this?
Yes. We are seeing that our customers are running a lot of foundational tasks such as patching, hardening, software management, asset management. These are a bunch of tasks that are boring tasks, very boring. They are very time consuming, and yet they are critical for IT operations. So here, what we are seeing is that it's hard for them to outsource these tasks. But once they do the step, once they choose a partner that they trust, they can benefit a lot from outsourcing this kind of tasks. We are seeing that at least in Southern Europe, in Spain in particular, where companies maybe are smaller than the ones that you have here in the US, by outsourcing these tasks, you can free up to 3 or 4 FTEs, which is something very significant when we are seeing that the companies are struggling to get IT resources in these days. So this freeing up of resources is a blessing, and you can use these resources to do something of more value in the company, right? And on top of that, if you look at the return on the investment, when you do the maths, it pays off. It's really worth it to outsource these tasks.
Any other comments about this partnership that exists and the trust that has to exist between the MSP and the customer?
Yeah, Todd, I think the vendor plays a critical role in this partnership as well. As we see that service is not always great, so we have failures. And as part of this journey, we make mistakes. Customers make mistakes, and we all jump in to do service improvement plans, look back and see what went wrong and sort it out. I've seen it play out really well when vendors and partners jump in to build bridges and trust with our clients in order to keep a culture of improvement and continuous improvement. I think that solidified the trust that we have with our customers and clients. And I've seen Tanium in Australia in particular plays a pivotal role. So they were leaning in at every opportunity to help us out of some critical situations.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We have a unique relationship with NTT, customer of ours in Japan, partner of ours in Japan, partner of ours in Australia, big customer of ours in the United States as well too. So it's been an exciting partnership with NTT. Final question, possibly. This is an outcome-based business model that we all live in today. Talk about some of the dashboards or reports or information that you have to provide to your clients. What's the information that they need or that they can expect from their service providers? And so, Sebastiaan, should we start with you?
Sure. So I speak to this at length with my clients as well, where when we talk about reporting, it's important that when we utilize a technology like Tanium that has such a focus on real-time information, reports get a different meaning, because a report, by definition, has stale data in it, right? So yes, reports have a place. They are an important mechanism to showcase trends in the service we provide. But at the same time, we want our clients to be able to take action when it is needed, right? We don't want them waiting for us to reply to them and send them the fancy new management sheet. So we invite them into the console with us. And we do this with Tanium, but other technologies as well, where we say that we give you full transparency of what we're doing. We give you access to the same data we have, so that if you have a ad hoc request from your own management team, you can dive into the console and figure it out yourself. And we will train you in that. We will take your hand and guide you. And if you have questions, we're still there to support.
Good. Chafic, I know that in Australia there's some unique regulatory requirements that are sweeping throughout Australia. Can you talk a little bit about some of the unique reports or dashboards that you have to provide your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to talk a little bit about Essential 8, what
Yep.
it is. So the Australian Cybersecurity Centre has developed prioritized mitigation strategies to help organizations prevent cybersecurity incidents. So the Essential 8 is a baseline of these strategies that are founded on some key controls like application patching, operating system patching, multi-factor authentication, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, most of these controls are quite up there aligned with the Tanium platform core capabilities. So with Tanium in Australia, we partnered in to develop and package up a service offering that allows us to report on our clients' posture against the Essential 8. And not only that, respond to where there are gaps and risks on the back of those reports. And also allowed us to provide these via BI dashboards and reports to our clients in a fully transparent manner that actually talks to the continuously building that trust with our customers. So there's no adaptation to the reports. They are actually real time, portraying a good picture of where the customers are.
Thank you. Jordi, you made a comment earlier when we were talking about providing reports to the CISOs and the CIOs for them to provide to the. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are not providing the dashboards to the executive board. We are providing the dashboard to the CTO or to the CISO to present it to the executive board, because dashboards at the end are very powerful. So what we are doing is we are splitting these dashboards in 3 different layers. The first layer is to show that we have everything under control. So we show a lot of metrics regarding how many endpoints are there, operating system, virtual or physical, a lot of information mostly taken from asset module and discovery module. This way you show that you have everything under control. Then we have the second section, and in this section we show all the tasks that we are performing, which are a lot of them, and you have to put them into value. How many patch campaigns are you running? How many software are you deploying? Assessment you are running? So you are showing that you're doing things. And the last part of the dashboard, which is the most important, is the one that is showing the outstanding risks that the company is facing. And these risks normally will come with an ask. I mean, you will ask for resources, for money, for budget, for something to fix these risks. So at the end, after a nice dashboard, there is always an ask for something.
Right. Okay, one last bonus round question that I didn't put in the script. As I talked about this earlier, there's a big shift going on. There's a lot of our customers in the room that are listening online as well too that might be contemplating whether or not they should be reaching out to an MSP for some type of an outcome-based service. What guidance would you give them, or where would you tell them to get started to figure out the solution that they should be looking for, or the managed service provider they should be working with? And so, Sebastiaan, can we start with you?
Obviously start by calling Capgemini. No, but in all seriousness, I think it is important to understand your own requirements and expectations of your service provider before you start engaging any type of MSP in the market, right? We are all very different. We have different philosophies. A different philosophy might not be right for your organization, but you can only make that judgment call once you understand what you actually need. And that starts with an initial conversation about what type of service are you looking for? Do you want your endpoints protected? Do you want your patches deployed? But from that, also considerations in terms of what you expect from the governance model behind it. Do you want to be in the trenches with your MSP, or do you just want to point in the general direction and have them figure it out for you? These are important questions that will help you find the MSP that's right for you.
Any last comments on that last question?
I would say just try us and request a proof of concept and try it. I mean, once you see the service delivering, you will be convinced that it's right for you.
Good. Thank you so much for everything that you do for Tanium and our shared customers. We really, really do appreciate it. To everybody out in the internet and here, if you have not had an opportunity to understand what it is that these companies do, please take the time. On the website, you'll find a bunch of information about all the different companies and the services they built around Tanium. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you spending a couple days with us. Take care.